Hey fam, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to be doing a 2 looks, 1 palette with the Menagerie Whale Song palette. This palette is a blue-green color story that I found to be so beautiful and inspiring. And if you are interested in seeing how I came up with these 2 looks, go ahead and stay tuned. We're going to get into it right now. So I thought today we would try a look with the Menagerie Whale Song palette. I have been so inspired by this palette. It's a really beautiful green and blue color story, and I haven't even swatched it yet, so I'm gonna do that first. Also, I wanted to bring your attention to some freshies on Joy's Beauty Jones. Mr. Dougie Fresh himself was kind enough to gift your girl a brand new microphone, some brand new umbrella lights. There was like a third light, which I want to try to use for my Shop My Stashes. It's like a lower light, as well as a reflector, which I'm not using the reflector today, but I'm gonna try to play with some of this lighting, see if I can get everything to look the way I want it to look. I'm obviously teaching myself everything here, so please bear with me. I'm not sure if it will look any differently or sound any differently in this video, but I wanted to just let you guys know. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into some swatches. Starting with my brows done, as well as my eyelids primed. I think we're gonna start out with this color Kelp, and I'm gonna start packing that into the crease. I'm using this kind of larger packing brush, just so I can be more precise about where I apply the shadow on my lid. I wanna keep this kind of low. So I'm just going to kind of pounce this into this area, and then we're going to blend it once we get the colors the way we want them to be. And so far I'd say the pigmentation is very nice, and this color story is so beautiful. And I'm not quite sure exactly what I'm going to do. I'm kind of just developing this eye look organically. I'm kind of just letting the colors dictate what I should reach for next. And you barely have to touch the pan. You get so much pigment just lightly tapping it. The shadow is blending beautifully. Then I'm grabbing a kind of smaller blending brush, and I am going to tap into the shade Reef, which is this kind of Kelly green right here. And I just want to kind of define the crease a bit more, deepen the crease. And again, I'm just going to kind of pat this in where I want this color to be. I want it a little bit lower than that first shade. And you can see I have this little like negative space in there. I'm wondering if I should pop a different color. I kind of want to. Let's do it. I'm gonna grab a little bit of Dive down here, this really pretty kind of bright blue. And just so I don't accidentally mix my colors, I want to just use my little brush switch real quick. So I'm gonna use that same exact brush. We're gonna grab a little bit of that Dive shade. And I just want to pat this in between the Kelly green. I wanted to do a blue-green look today, and I wasn't quite sure how to marry the two. This is definitely giving me some inspiration. Again, I haven't even really started blending anything. I'm gonna go back into that green shade, Reef, and I just want to kind of reestablish it here in this outer corner. That blue kind of took over a teeny bit. So now I'm gonna grab a small blending brush. I think this one will do. I like that it's a little bit shorter and denser. I'm gonna go back in with that first shade Kelp and just kind of replace that. Kind of blend out this green and the blue. So I don't want to lose that shade. And as y'all probably know, oftentimes my looks look a little crazy and then they kind of just come together. And that's what I'm really hoping for today. So now with this fluffier blending brush, I'm gonna grab Plankton here at the top. as I just dug my nail into it and chipped a whole big chunk out of it. Only me. And I'm going to buff this little edge out. And I think I just want to kind of carry this out, like pull these shades out a bit. And I'm not blending like crazy. I just want to kind of soften. And that pop of blue, I think, just adds a little something. All right, so now let's hop into some shimmers. Start with the mint here. This shade is called Fluke. And I want to grab a small flat shading brush. So we have a small flat shading brush and I want to dip into that mint shade Fluke. And we are going to start this in this innermost part of the lid. And we're going to start to kind of carry that in more towards the center of the lid. And then as we get to the blue section, let me grab a different flat shader brush. I just cleaned my brushes yesterday, so I'm just diving right in, getting them all dirty again. I'm gonna grab this one. I think this is from ColourPop. Yeah, a little flat shader from ColourPop. And I'm gonna grab this blue shade. This is called Whale Song. So this is the signature shade in the palette. And I want to line that up under the blue mat in the center of the lid. I am getting a little bit of fallout with this shimmer, but I haven't done my face makeup for this exact reason. So I'm not worried about it, but if you tend to do your foundation first, something to note about the shimmer. So now that I have that laid on the lid, I'm gonna go back to that first brush, the little skinny guy, and back into that mint shade, and I just want to carry this over a bit closer to the blue and just marry those two shimmers. And then for my outer lid, I'm going to jump into Splash on the other side of that flat shader brush we used for Whale Song. And I want this to go more towards the outer part of my lid. Okay. Then to deepen up the outer edge of my eye, though that is really pretty even without darkening it up. Do we want to leave it here or do we want to deepen up the outer edge? This is really pretty as it is, but I'm curious if it can get even better or if I'm just going to mess it up. What to do. All right, I'm still thinking, but I have some liner options to consider. I have a couple here from NYX. I have this one. This is their Vivid Brights collection. I just picked up the entire line. I think I'm gonna probably do a video on those as well. Just give you guys swatches of everything. This is the shade Vivid Escape. And I have this green liquid liner from ColourPop in The Hills. I have a lime green Electric Daisy. I have this one, which is Teaspoon. It's another gel liner. I have a navy blue in Crazy from ColourPop. I have this Periwinkle in Prance. Got another Vivid Brights in Vivid Envy. Got this aqua in Zulu, I think that's called. And then I have another Vivid Brights in Vivid Sapphire. So I'm gonna swatch a couple of these, see what I wanna do on the waterline as well as on my lid, and I think that'll help me determine if I do wanna go into the outer corner with one of those deeper greens or blues. I'll do a couple swatches and we'll come right back. Apologies for the weird angle, but here we have the swatches of the eyeliners we just talked about. So ultimately what I ended up doing was going with Teaspoon on my waterline, and then for my lid, I did a little wing. I went in with the Vivid Brights in Vivid Envy. I think that's a really cute look. And I think in doing so, I decided I want to do a different look on the other eye. So let's hop into the next look. turning into a 2 looks 1 palette, which was not what I thought this was gonna be, but girl, I just gotta try them all. And since this eye I think is so green dominant, I'm gonna go ahead and focus on the blues on this eye. We might pull in some greens like we pulled in the little blue in the center, we'll see. But to start, I'm gonna go in with this light blue shade called Cetacine. I have no idea, Cetacine I think. It's this guy right here, this light blue. Again with my little packing brush, I'm gonna pick up some of this shade and just start this low down on my lid and lower crease. And I'm just really building this up to full opacity. So the next shade, I want to jump into Barnacle up here at the top. And I'm going to grab this small tapered blending brush and pick up a little bit of Barnacle. And I just want to kind of sweep this out. I want this look to be like a little bit more dramatic than the last one. And I'm just kind of carrying this into about the midpoint of my crease and just pulling it outward. Very little bit of product because I don't want this to go too crazy, and I'm kind of trying something new, so I don't want to overcommit. We are just working this kind of out toward the end of my brow and just keeping it nice and high and light. I'm gonna kind of play with eye shapes. And I'm just kind of carrying over whatever's left over on the brush, not picking up any additional product. And I'm just kind of sweeping this through the remainder of the crease. But I want the inside to stay a little lighter and the outside to be kind of where the drama is. I want to grab a little bit of this deeper color. And I think I'm going to pick it up on this little kind of denser, smaller brush. And I want to tap into Breaching. And I just want to aim this beneath the other line we drew to kind of create a little bit of a wing. These colors are so beautiful, so easy to blend, and really fun to play with. Then I'm going to grab this brush. This was our fluffy blending brush. I have cleaned it off in my brush switch as best I can. I didn't add any additional product. And I just want to kind of wiggle this over the edge of these lines, just soften them a bit. I don't want to really lose our placement. I just want to make sure that these are like real soft edges. Just kind of gently tapping to blend. Itty bitty little strokes. So I don't want to blend these too much together. Okay, then on the inside of my lid, I'm gonna go back into our little tiny brush and I wanna grab the shade Pearl, and I just wanna kind of start that in the beginning here. Actually, I'm gonna try placing on a little bit with my finger. And I am getting that under my eye a bit, but it doesn't matter because we haven't even done our concealer or anything yet. So I just want that to kind of start at the beginning. It's really pretty. And then I'm just going to build this up a little bit with my brush. We deposited most of our pigment with my finger right there. I just want this to kind of gradiate a bit. I'm gonna grab the teeniest bit of mint. This is called Fluke. This kind of minty shimmery green. And I'm gonna just put a little bit here in the center just to add a little bit of life. Not too much. And then on the end, I want to grab this blue shimmer again. This is Whale Song. Again, that signature shadow from the palette. And I want to carry this toward the end of my lid. Kind of blending that with the minty shade. This palette is giving me total mermaid vibes, which I love. I think this side is like playful and cute, and this side is kind of more dramatic and va va boom. All right, so then for this side, I'm gonna go into my waterline with Prance, and then I'm going to line the upper lid with Vivid Sapphire, and we'll be right back. So we're back. I have Prance in the waterline, and I just did a little baby wing with the Vivid Sapphire from NYX. I think that looks really cool. I think both of these eye looks are really beautiful and unique. I love these shades together. I think these are so pretty. So why don't I finish up the rest of my makeup and we'll be back for the lower lash line. All right, y'all, so we are back. Rest of my makeup is done, and we're gonna go for the lower lash line. So I think on the green side, I think I wanna try going into Plankton. I don't want this look to get too heavy, so I wanna kind of start out softly. And I think this will, no, you know what? I'm gonna change my mind. I'm gonna go in with Kelp very, very lightly under my lower lash line. And it's really fresh and pretty. Almost like a grass green. Okay, and then on this side, I want to go for something a little bit more smoky. And I could either go bright with the Dive color, or I could kind of go deeper with Barnacle. And both are kind of tempting me right now. Let's go with the bright shade, just because I think it could be interesting. Go into Dive and just be real light about it. And that definitely makes it more colorful. Then I want to go in with a flat brush, this one here from Luxie, and I want to grab Barnacle at the top, and I'm just going to bring this a little closer to the lower lash line. I'm going to go back in with that first brush that just has a little bit of that lighter blue on it and just kind of buff this out a little bit. So for my inner corner highlight, I'm going to grab this little tiny brush, and I just want to grab a little bit of Pearl, and I'm going to use that on both sides. I'll throw on some lashes. We'll be back for the final. All right, y'all, I am back. I have my lashes on, and I do have a quick update for you. I was looking over the palette and realized the only shade we did not use was this dark green. So I was like, you know what? I was waffling back and forth whether I wanted to deepen up this eye with the green. So I took my little quick blending brush. I barely touched the shade, and then I just tap, 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 super gently, and just deepened up this outer corner with the green, and I totally think it elevated that look. So this is my final look. What do you guys think? So in terms of my final thoughts on this palette, I really, really love it. I think it is so beautiful. It's so much fun playing with all of these colors. I was super excited that between the two looks, I was able to use every single shadow in this palette, and I can attest that they all blend beautifully. My only trouble was this little guy, Pearl. I think he might be better used wet. I just didn't get as much impact from that shadow as I was hoping for, but it is really pretty. I like the effect it gave me on the inside of this eye. I love this. I had so much fun. These shades for being blue and green, which can tend to be a little bit intimidating to at least me, especially blue. I think these are such beautiful colors. They're formulated in such a way that they're so wearable and so beautiful and flattering. They don't look too dramatic or crazy, but you can still have such a fun look with these. I love the looks I created today. I'm really kind of shocked at how easy this was to play with. I was definitely a little bit intimidated when I went in, but I have to say I am in love with both of these looks, and I think they're some of the best looks I've done to date. So I'm really excited about that. I hope this video was super helpful for you guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Whale Song palette from Menagerie Cosmetics. If you have this palette, if it's one you've had your eye on, or if you have a blue-green palette that you love, I'd love to hear about it in the comments down below. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I love you all so much. And until the next video,